previously mentioned by the group, I'm Nick Johnson. I'm going to provide the preferred alternative solution. We wanted to evaluate managers' and employees' performance on interval basis. What this will do is hold managers and employees accountable for their performance on a regular basis by issuing corrective action. So, if that manager or employee isn't meeting their goals, then how do we get them there, and what will motivate them to get there? And then the people who are meeting their goals, we need to be able to establish some sort of system that rewards them or keeps them motivated to continue to meet their goals. Then also we need to create a system to track time. There's personal time and company time that's lost, and through this performance review we should be able to look at how that time is being spent and track that down to better understand why that time is being lost. Then also we need to let managers and employees have goals so that they can meet those goals, and then can actually sit back and evaluate that as a general manager and as an owner to see how are they meeting their goals and what we need to do to continue to get them there throughout the year, and basically be there for support versus being the decision maker like CAN has been historically. We also have some questions for review to look at to how do we got to our solutions and our identifications throughout this process. So number one, how did we evaluate change efforts in terms of being transactional and transformational? So from a transactional standpoint, we need to allow managers the ability to manage within guidelines set. So CAN should give the authority to managers to make those decisions, and then feel free to come to them for input, but let them have the ability to make that final decision. From a transformational standpoint, they hired consultants and us to help come in and help change the process by creating surveys and the SWOT analysis to look at what our weaknesses are and our strengths and opportunities and threats. So we're able to see the whole scope of the business and not just look at what could be positive, but also look at the negatives in order to get to what the goal the Yellow Automotive company set, which is a 50% market share that they want to meet within a certain amount of time. And they also want to address problems that employees and customers may have to make the business better. And that's also what we're here to help with. Number two, why might employees show almost no resistance and change within the company? Employees aren't going to show a resistance because they want this change. They want to have the ability to make decisions and have an impact on the company. So by letting them have that, there's going to be very little resistance because they're unhappy with the culture, and they know at the end of the day their job could be on the line, as if the company struggles, then their job could go away, or they may not get an increase in salary or that type of thing. Number three, the benefits of working with consultants. The benefit of working with a consultant is it's a fresh set of eyes. We come in with no understanding of the company on a day-to-day basis, but on the general scope. So things that may be accustomed to regular employees within Yellow Auto Company wouldn't be to us. So we're looking at that with a new set of eyes, and hopefully be able to find new things or daily things that are overlooked. And then also, it's going to create less internal conflict by having a third party come in and look at the problems versus someone internally, which could create some backlash within the employee group. And then also, it's going to help evaluate the owner on down. In a lot of instances, it's internal. You don't want to look at upper management because there's fear of looking at those managers. So by looking at it from a third party, you'll be able to look at everyone equally. So also considering the job satisfaction, the organizational culture, and leadership style surveys that are repeated at the end of the change process, do we expect significant change in employee attitudes? Why or why not? We don't expect a significant change in the attitudes just based on the time period of being 3 months. We believe this will take a while to develop, implement, train, and then understand the processes that are being implemented to all the employees. Then there may even be some modifications that need to take place. So in this instance, we're really going to have to look at this on a longer scale versus a 3-month scale. We may see some slight changes in 3 months, but we're not going to see significant changes, we don't believe. We believe this will take a year, possibly a little longer, to see the attitudes completely change. And assuming we're working together on this process to find a solution, the proposal that kind of explains everything in general is to basically create a hierarchy, one, for decision making and control. So by having a hierarchy, who has control to make that decision and when. And then also develop a clear and concise job description and documentation. So want all documentation to be clear and concise, easy to understand. Then also, what responsibilities do jobs have, and if they come outside that scope, then how long will that happen, and how long will it take to find somebody else to help with that? Or does that become a regular job duty? We need to understand all of that because we're being evaluated on our performance. And also develop a continuous improvement approach. We don't want to put these implementations into place and then let the Yellow Auto Company go back to where they were by not progressing. So continually doing performance reviews of employees is one, but also just looking at the physical aspect of the company as well, and doing preventive maintenance to make sure that it's up to customer standards and Renault standards, because the Renault is ultimately going to control the business at hand, because that's who the automotive supplier is. And also evaluating and prioritizing risk. So we want to be able to understand our risk and then prioritize based on how long it's going to take to complete certain aspects of the experience. So how will this impact customers, and how will this impact employees? We need to look at all of that to change the company's overall culture. And creating a team rather than an individual approach. The individual approach motivates the individual to work well within their scope of their job, but collectively everyone can work together towards a company goal versus an individual goal. And that's what we want to do. Ultimately get the company to where they need to be long term and continually grow, instead of just improve and stay flat. And those are our recommendations, and I appreciate your time. I'm Nick Johnson.